Welcome back, chemistry fans. Today, I get the pleasure of introducing Unit 1, Topic 2. We're going to talk about safety today. So if you haven't already, please do start joining me with your notes. You can find those in Canvas as a document that you guys could edit if you wanted to. You make your own copy and you could start improving upon this. It looks like this for the section. You could also follow along if you wanted to in the Unit 1 answers, Topic 2, laboratory safety. All right, so here we go on this one. What we're going to talk about starting are just the rules. So you are going to be given a digital copy of these rules. They have not changed in many, many years. They are all very, very standard, very, very basic. I believe they are taken from many different sources, put together, compiled together by the county. But by and large, what it says is, A, trust your teacher to know what's right and don't do anything outside of those instructions. And you're going to be safe. I will always warn you of what the hazards are of the equipment and the materials that you will be using. I will always try and play the devil's advocate role of what you could do wrong, how this could go absurdly off the rails if you decided to do your own experiments or try and do some of your own activities on your own. This is all going to culminate in a safety quiz very soon. And again, as is the case with every other quiz assessment, you're going to have access to whatever you want, but you're not going to have the time to do this. So I'm going to encourage you to go over this. Tonight's homework will also incorporate some information from these rules. Okay, so if we're going through this, it is divided up into some important sections here. First and foremost, you have your general guidelines, and it just says, no horseplay, no dangerous activities, follow my instructions. That's the first and the most important of the rules. Don't touch anything until you're told to do so. You can't be in the lab without me present. Only perform the experiments that I have authorized you to do. Don't mix things together that you shouldn't. I will be giving you step-by-step instructions as we go through this. You're not permitted in my prep area in the door that's behind my right shoulder over to the left side of the screen. Keep your work area very clean. Keep it as you were given. It should be a cleaned area. Wipe it off, keep it clean when you leave. Know where all of the safety equipment is in the laboratory. I will have a separate video here to take you through that, showing you where all of the safety equipment is. Actually, you know what? Maybe we'll just do that here in just a second. We'll just incorporate that right into here. And never stick anything into the electrical plug that you shouldn't, because it could harm you. All chemicals should be considered hazardous. Don't taste anything. Keep your hands away from your face. If you've touched something, don't wipe your face. Wash your hands first. Don't eat food. And please, just most important thing, wash your hands. Wash your hands after you're done with the laboratory. Make sure that you're carrying sharps pointed down. And if you break something, don't try and hide it. Just let me know so that I can help you to find the correct container to clean it up. Don't just put it in the trash can, because sometimes the custodial staff doesn't use the container to dump it. They put their hands in it. We don't want that to happen. Just make sure that you have for clothing that you are wearing the proper protection. Whenever I tell you there's chemicals that could bleach your clothes or burn your skin, make sure you're wearing your protection. Get those hairs tied back into appropriate ponytails, if you wouldn't mind. We got no living organisms going to happen. Again, glassware, don't use anything that's chipped. Let me know so I can get you a replacement for you. And again, here's the same story. Report anything that you've broken. Don't try and hide it from me. Heating substances. Assume that if we've got a heater going on, whatever it's touching is going to be hot. So don't try and handle it with your bare fingers. Always use protective clothing to try, protective gear to try and lift hot items away. Don't ever get your eyes, your mouth, your fingers close to a hot surface. Always waft the scents towards you, or don't allow it to point towards anyone else, just in case it boils over. And then again, most important is that you would report everything, that you follow my instructions, but hand in hand with that one is that you let me know if there is an accident, so I can help you if you are injured, or so I can get you care or concern for what may happen. If there's a spill, don't try and hide it. Let me know so I can help you clean it up. And if I yell at you, it's just because it's a dangerous situation and it's frustrating. It's not because I'm mad at you. That is not the scenario whatsoever. It's just a frustrating situation. You can deal with a little bit of angst on my part while we're trying to keep the laboratory safety. All right, that's the important things about safety. Being very specific here. What do we do about these spills? So let me know, get yourself prepared, get your proper safety equipment, confine it so it doesn't spread out. Make sure that you properly dispose of it, you clean it up, and if necessary, we would write some kind of report to the school. If your body is exposed to chemicals, we have an eye wash station, which I will be showing to you here in well, let's go ahead and do that. Let's just go ahead and show it to you. So if I've got an eye wash station, and we have the sinks you know about, so we can deal with those, but let me go ahead and show you what we have for if you get something in your eye. That's it right here. This is your eye wash station. And if you were to use this plunger right here, you push it up, it will allow a stream of water to come up, put your eye in it, open up your eyeballs so that whatever's in there can get dislodged or can get washed out. This is your safety shower. Now on this shower, there's a tiny drain down here at the bottom. So please don't pull it, because it's going to make a mess that will be hard for us to clean up. And here we go. Ready? This is what your safety shower does. You pull that chain down, you pull that arm down, and it's going to put out a whole lot of water really quick. So you don't want to mess with that one. Another piece of safety equipment over here is the fume hood. Now the fume hood has several different switches over here. And the most important one is the power switch. Turn it on. And what you're going to see up here is this light, and it says everything is good. So it's sucking out, but wait, it's turning yellow, it's turning red. The only way to keep it where it's negative flows, it's always flowing outside. So if there's something in here that smells bad, noxious, we close this glass screen completely, and that will allow all the gases to escape and not come into the room. Over on this wall, we have a fire blanket. There is a latch down at the bottom, and if we undo this and pull it down, you notice that a little fire blanket tries to come out, and it's really hard to get it back in there. So don't ever unlatch that, because you probably won't be able to get it back, and I'll know about it. Here are fire extinguishers. There are 2 fire extinguishers at each one of the doors. This is not a safety exit. It's in the back of the room, and it leads to other laboratories. Not a safe place to go if you've got a fire. You want to get out of the building. This is your fire extinguisher. You're not supposed to use this. Get out of here if there is a fire. That's something that I can do if it's a small fire, so I can put it out and try and help you through the situation. It just comes off of the hook, and then you have to pull a pin and you squeeze it to make it work. The last piece of safety equipment, if I don't make you too dizzy by walking with the camera, it's hidden. I'm going to fix it so it's a little. Yes, I'm going to put a sign on it, but that red button right there, that is your safety. I can't figure out how to do it. There it is. That push it. That is your safety emergency electrical shut off, and that will allow any electrical devices to be shut off if someone has done something stupid and got themselves shocked or put something in here. This is your only exit. It's where the clock is at the front of the room. That gets you out into the hallways. That gets you out of here, and it's safe from there. All right, that's all the safety equipment that I have in the laboratory. Now we can go back to your regularly scheduled notes. Let's see what we got left over. All right, so what do you do again if you've got something on you? Well, if it's in your eyeballs, go put it to the eye wash. If it's on your skin, go put it in the sink. If it's on your clothing or if it's on your body, then you're going to want to go to the safety shower. MSDS. Okay. It's the old term, material safety data sheet. It's no longer called this by OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Hazard Administration, who is in charge of making sure that all the laboratories across America are safe, all the workplaces are safe. It's now just called a safety data sheet. And all it has on it is, as you can see, a subsectioned list of data about every single chemical that's in your workplace. So we're going to have an activity where we go and we look up one of the chemicals that's very common in our laboratory, and we're going to find some of the main safety features of that. You can find this by simply Googling, if you will, MSDS. And so what I've done here is I have linked a MSDS for copper sulfate. We'll come back to this, but what you should notice is up here in this first section tells you who manufactured it, how to get in touch with them. Section 2 tells you what's in the bottle actually. And then it starts to get into what do you do if you touch it? What happens if you smell it? What's the worst thing that could happen to you? Well, in this case of copper sulfate, it's just mostly an irritant. It's not going to kill me if I touch it, but long-term exposure, it could be a carcinogen. It's not very good. So it does do some damage if we eat a lot of it over a long period of time. Well, fortunately, we won't be doing that. And then it gets into more specific, what we do if it's come in touch with your skin, with your eyeballs, if you eat some of it. Fire, it doesn't burn. Who do we report it to? How do we store it? All of these, and then its properties. What does it look like? Well, it's blue. When does it melt? Is it odorless? When does it freeze? What does it boil at? All of these are in our MSDS, or now as we call, oh, and by the way, lethal toxicity, 300 milligrams. So it will kill a rat at 300 milligrams. More than likely, we would have to eat 2 grams of this stuff for it to become very, very dangerous to us. So I think we'd gag before we got that far. I don't think you can probably get that much down you before you would feel gross. All right. Now there's some symbols that I need you to become familiar with. These will be the labels on the chemicals. So most of these you could probably figure out. They are labeled here with the environmental hazard, a picture of a desert, of a desolate landscape. The skull and crossbones, meaning it's dangerous, it's poison, it'll kill you. Gas under pressure, it's the tube. It looks like it's a vaping container. It's not. Corrosive, if you get it on the skin, you get it on metal, it's going to eat it away because it's an acid. Explosive, it shows a sphere that's blowing up. Maybe that's, it maybe looks like a tribal chief's headdress or something like that. Flammability. It looks like the little fireballs that are in Donkey Kong. Moderate hazard, just making you alert with the exclamation point. Oxidizing, that's an O, that's not a head that's on fire. And then health hazard is if you ingest it, it's going to cause damage to the skin inside. Here are a few more that you might see that tell you some of the precautions you need to have if you use this chemical. Some of them say, you know, you need to have an eye wash if you're going to use it. Some of them say that you need to have gloves, you need to have goggles if you're going to use it. Some of these talk about, oh, there's a laser beam in, there's a biological hazard. Mostly you can figure them out just by what the symbols say. Now, this you probably have seen on the road of some containers that are carrying chemicals. Anytime they are carrying chemicals across the country, and sometimes on products themselves, they will have this triangle diamond of telling you what happens if the numbers are large, and it's on a scale of 0 to 4. If the numbers are larger, they're more dangerous. So you should be aware that the blue is talking about human impact. The red is talking about fire. So this is moderately, whatever this chemical is moderately dangerous. And instability. What's going to happen whenever it gets exposed to water? What's going to happen when it gets exposed to air? And notice the specific one says, do not get water near it. It will cause a reaction. We don't want that. All right. There's going to be a part of your safety quiz dealing with the laboratory equipment. The lab that we will do today, I'm going to show you every single one of these pieces of equipment, tell you what their uses are, show them in some practical activity, how they connect together, how that you would use them. You need to be able to identify them by their picture and by their name. Here those are again. I think the important ones that we should probably investigate, let's see if I'm not gonna be able to write on this, are up here at the beginning where we're talking about you need to know your beaker, You need to know your crucible. You need to know an Erlenmeyer flask, a graduated cylinder, a burette, triangle, utility clamp, ring stand, ring clamp, mortar and pestle, a spatula. These are all things that we will use on a very, very frequent basis. Okay, so with that said, this is everything that I wish to share with you today about safety. Hopefully, you feel a little bit better about what the expectations are, and you understand that you're going to be okay. I'm going to get you through the activities in the laboratories without any hazards, as long as you follow my instructions. So thank you very much for your attention. I will talk with you again soon. Farewell. Bye.